Welcome back, everyone, to the South Carolina Manufacturing Conference and Expo right here on SCBIZtv. In case you missed it, our prior session was Upskilling the Workforce. That session is now archived on SCBIZtv, and you can watch at your leisure. This session is titled Sprinting to Keep Up with Technology. New manufacturing technologies are coming at us fast and furious. Deciding when and how to innovate is not always an easy decision. A state organization dedicated to fostering innovation is the South Carolina Research Authority, or SCRA. Grady Johnson is the president and group publisher of SCBiz. He's also my boss. He's based in the Low Country and is at our Charleston studio right now. Good morning, Grady. I believe you got a special SCRA guest with you.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Bob Quinn, Executive Director of the South Carolina Research Authority. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Grady. Pleasure to be with you.
So Bob, tell us a little bit about what SCRA does.
Sure. Our mission is to fuel South Carolina's innovation economy, and we do that by accelerating technology-enabled growth of industry, academia, and entrepreneurship. We accomplish that mission through 4 major programs. Through our SC Launch program, we provide mentoring, grants, and investments to technology-based early-stage companies. Under our SC Academic Innovations program, we provide similar support to that provided under SC Launch, but focus on those companies that have academic intellectual property at their foundation. Also under Academic Innovations, we fund and manage multi-year collaborative research programs focused on meeting the needs of industry throughout the state and involving many different academic institutions. Under SC Facilities, we own and/or manage over 1.3 million square feet of laboratory and office space throughout the state. And finally, under our SC Industry Solutions program, we facilitate and fund collaborations between and among industry, academia, and entrepreneurs.
And Bob, tell us a little how you're working with manufacturers to help them innovate and provide support to them.
Yeah, so each of our 4 programs supports the manufacturing industry. Approximately 20% of our SC Launch companies fall squarely within the manufacturing industry. The other 2 major industries are IT and life sciences. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of overlap between and among those 3 industries. And I'll give you an example. One of our portfolio companies, that is companies that within which we have invested, is Zverse out of the Columbia area. They are a digital manufacturing software company. So as such, we have binned them, if you will, into the IT industry. However, with the onset of the COVID pandemic, they quickly pivoted to starting to manufacture protective shields. They began that manufacturing using 3D printing, but given the large number of orders that they received, they quickly realized that they would not be able to sufficiently scale to meet those needs using that platform. So we introduced them to a variety of partners, including injection molders, and they're now one of the largest providers of protective shields in the country, having won recently a design award through Fast Company magazine and other accolades. Our SC Academic Innovations, we recently issued a solicitation for a multi-year, multi-million-dollar program, research program, to our state's public academic institutions, focused on three major areas: cybersecurity, biomedical sciences, and Industry 4.0. We commissioned business and science advisory boards for each of those areas to help us to scope the solicitation in a way that would meet the needs of industry, but also build up the capability base within our academic institutions. We have received the pre-proposals for that solicitation, and we're very encouraged by the partnerships that are being forged, which include multiple academic institutions, but also industry partners as well. Through SC Facilities, we own and manage innovation centers, 3 of them throughout the state, one each affiliated with the 3 research universities in South Carolina. At the University of South Carolina Innovation Center is housed the McNair Center for Aerospace Innovation and Research. And over the years, we have provided approximately $2.5 million to USC to help them to upfit that space to meet the needs of their research platform and research agenda, but also to address the needs of industry. And one of the components of the McNair Center is the Digital Transformation Laboratory. And there are a number of industry programs currently ongoing in that laboratory, many of which we have helped to fund with the likes of IBM, Samsung, Siemens, and Yaskawa. And then finally, with regard to our program of SC Industry Solutions, our team partners with manufacturers, both large and small, to learn their challenges and to help define a solution. We then tap into our entrepreneurial and academic networks to identify and facilitate technology-based solutions. Often we help to define the project scope, including the milestones and deliverables, and serve as a bridge between and among the industry, academic, and entrepreneurial cultures, because often they speak different languages, don't they?
I'm sure
and
they
so
do.
We help to serve as that translator, if you will. With matching funds from one or more industry partners, SCRA provides grants to de-risk the development and to lower the cost of pilot projects. One example of a very successful project recently involves MTU Rolls-Royce Power Systems in Aitkin, where SCRA and SCMEP, another one of the sponsors of this conference, collaborated to support and fund an artificial intelligence pilot project to predict catastrophic engine failure. Within the first 6 months alone after completion of that project, they've already realized a 10x ROI, and they are taking those lessons learned and are implementing them now worldwide. For advanced manufacturing, we typically focus on Industry 4.0 technologies and have funded applied research for industry projects that have a longer development horizon. One example of a partnership involves the University of South Carolina at that aforementioned Digital Transformation Center, and it includes Nephron Pharmaceutical Corporation, under which they're developing a automated syringe filling capability within a sterile environment using collaborative robots. In that case, as well as every other project that we fund at USC, as I mentioned before, it's building up a capability base that not only benefits the industry partner, but all industry throughout South Carolina. Other examples of partnerships that we have funded and facilitated that will be highlighted throughout this conference includes one involving Train and IoTco, and another with JTech and FSI Advanced Research.
Got a lot going on. But talk a little bit about sort of some bricks and mortar things that are going on, and specifically here in Charleston with life science.
Yeah, so I mentioned about the 3 innovation centers. Well, not surprisingly, the Innovation Center in Charleston, which is affiliated at MUSC, has a strong life sciences focus. One company came into the Innovation Center a couple years ago, brand new company, moved in from another state, or successful recruitment, and they quickly outgrew our space, and that company is Vicor Scientific. Their core technology platform is they're a molecular diagnostics company, and they're able to analyze the presence of some 40 respiratory pathogens, both viruses and bacteria. They were growing tremendously and quickly outgrowing our innovation center. And the timing could not have been better because concomitant with that, we had signed the lease for the entire top floor, 16,000 square feet, of the new 22 West Edge facility. West Edge is a development in Peninsular Charleston, adjacent to MUSC. And the vision here is to create an innovation district, which would encompass MUSC, Roper, and then having West Edge be an anchor for that as well. 22 West Edge focuses exclusively on life sciences research and commercialization. So it was very much consistent with our mission to lease that space and make it available. Void of having that space available, a company like Vicor would very well have had to move out of the state. And the timing was incredible in that just as we were completing the space in February, COVID hit. The number of samples that they needed to process mushroomed tremendously. Our staff went into high gear to get the facility up and running with them. They are now fully operational, almost outgrowing the space already, and are processing some 20,000 samples a day.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, Bob, it's been wonderful to have you here in the Charleston studio. Thank you so much for coming. And back to you, Rick.
Thank you, Grady, and thanks to Bob Quinn and SCRA for supporting our conference. They certainly have been a great partner, and I tell you who's been a wonderful partner as well, and that's this lady that's sitting beside me, Catherine Hayes. She is the industry manager at SCRA. And Catherine, I got to tell you, you have been instrumental in bringing so many of these people together to talk to us today, and I just appreciate it. You've been doing a lot of work for us. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. It's been fun. And I'm passionate about Industry 4.0 and helping manufacturers in South Carolina in their digital transformation journey.
I know you were passionate about it, and your passion got me more passionate about it as we were putting an agenda together. And so let's talk about 4.0 for a second. And we've been talking about this earlier today, and we're going to be talking about it all day long. Industry 4.0, we got all types of technologies, right? You got predictive maintenance or predictive analytics, and you've got 3D printing and artificial intelligence and virtual reality and big data, all of this kind of stuff. Companies have a lot to choose from. How do they choose?
Well, Rick, there's some preliminary work that needs to be done before you go on this journey. One thing I heard Bausch say, which I think is classic, is if you digitize an inefficient process, you're just guaranteed of it being inefficient.
Right.
So lean techniques, lean methodologies, SCMP does a great job of helping companies in learning that and applying it, are really fundamental before you start your digitalization. In addition, having a team environment and continuous improvement is really helpful because the cultural adoption of new technology is somewhat sometimes a hindrance. And for those that have already been working in teams,
Right.
working on new quality systems, it's not a big stretch.
You know, if I was in a manufacturing facility and I was tasked with coming up with what technology I wanted to use, I'd go straight for the really cool stuff, right? I'd go straight for virtual reality stuff or something like that, but that's not the smart decision usually. And so we got to be careful about what we choose, what road we choose to go down, right?
Absolutely. And, cool tech is attractive. It's a shiny object.
That's right.
But really, what your decision should be based on is a strategic approach that drives customer value or productivity improvements or cost savings, not just attraction to cool tech.
Right.
So once you have the roadmap, which can either be top down or bottom up, or both, some combination, then you can identify key areas where there's high opportunity but low risk. And most of the companies we're working with have found that starting small on pilots that will be scalable is a better approach than a top-down massive project. We've had some experiences with those that it doesn't always go as smoothly as you'd like.
Smart factories. All of this technology goes into make a smart factory, right? At some point, you pass that point in your evolution, in your journey, that now you have a smart factory. And those smart factories, they don't look like your daddy's facilities, right? What makes a smart factory today? How do you know when you have a smart factory? How smart are these factories?
Well, again, this is a journey. This isn't something you turn on one day.
Yeah.
So I think what we see across South Carolina, the majority of advanced manufacturers are very interested in predictive analytics.
Yes.
For predictive maintenance, for forecasting, for productivity improvements.
That's kind of the no-brainer, right? Predictive analytics and predictive maintenance. I mean, that's kind of the thing that we should all be jumping into.
And actually, I mean, yes, it's definitely challenging to implement.
Yeah.
So it sounds good, sounds easy. It's not easy. You need to integrate legacy systems with existing systems. You need to be sure IT's involved up front because you're going to have to interface throughout your whether it's ERP, MRP. So yeah, it is the number one area though that manufacturers are looking at.
Yeah. Well, it probably has the most impact on a bottom line, I would assume.
Right, and it has the most opportunity to scale as well.
Right.
To multiple products, lines, plants.
Not as fun as artificial intelligence, but pretty important, right?
Well, it's the precursor for AI.
We're going to see a couple of videos. One of them is from Rolls-Royce, and one of them is from Nephron Pharmaceuticals. Let's talk Rolls-Royce first. Tell me about these guys.
Well, they're really, I think, taking charge
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, but they definitely have adopted various technologies, and they're looking at this very strategically to work with existing systems, to work with existing plants in Germany and elsewhere. And in Aitkin, I think we're really privileged that they have worked with SCRA and SCMEP on a forecasting, predictive analytics forecasting project to predict engine failure before it occurs, which has the potential to save a lot of money for them.
That's right.
And to also help their customer in the field to prevent failure.
Rolls-Royce definitely has a big brand, but in this instance, tell us what this facility, Rolls-Royce facility, does.
Well, they have, I guess this area is the power systems.
Yes.
They have several different products, but the ones that we've been working with them on are the large fracking engines.
Yes.
And these things are big. They're probably 12 feet long.
Right.
So they have a lot of processes that go into making those engines.
Right.
I know in addition, they're setting up a microgrid demonstrator, which is something to be on the lookout for in the future.
What's this video going to be, do you know, that we're going to watch from them?
Yeah, we've had the privilege of working with the team there, and Kristen Court is a really great engineer who has taken on the charge of Industry 4.0, and she is going to share with us their strategy, their approach, and is very frank about their lessons learned and where they've pivoted and where they're strong and about where they are in their journey.
Let's watch this video, folks. I saw it not too long ago, and it's really nice. I think you'll enjoy it. From Rolls-Royce. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Kirsten Cordy, and I am a Senior Project Engineer and Interim Senior Manager of Manufacturing Engineering at Rolls-Royce Power Systems in Aitkin, South Carolina. In this virtual session, I will walk you through the highlights of our ongoing Industry 4.0 journey. I'll start with a brief company overview. Then I will talk about some of the strategic and cultural things we have learned on the journey so far. I will introduce the components of our digitalization strategy in Aitkin and share some high-level details of a few projects we are working on. We will end with a look at where we are going, a glimpse of our factory of the future, and the digital thread. Rolls-Royce Power Systems has a global presence. We are represented in over 175 countries. This map shows our more than 1,200 locations worldwide. Our headquarters and hubs are in Germany, the US, and Singapore. We have factories in the US, Germany, and China, and joint ventures in India and China. We also have customer care centers in the US, Germany, Italy, Singapore, and China. Our other subsidiaries include more than 420 distributor and service partners. Rolls-Royce Power Systems delivers integrated solutions based on extensive experience across multiple industries and technologies. We leverage Power Systems' strong engine portfolio to build system capabilities and drive customer lifetime value. Machining, assembling, testing, and painting diesel engines, the Aitkin plant fits into the original equipment part of the portfolio. We were introduced to Industry 4.0 in early 2018 at a tech conference. Armed with fresh ideas and lots of excitement, we held focus groups over the summer with our shop floor employees, technical staff, and management team to share this information. We wanted to get their perspectives on how things were going and what changes they wanted to see. After reviewing all of the input, several themes emerged as shown on this slide. We wanted to get started right away, so we turned to SCMEP and SCRA. Both proved to be effective industry partners in several ways, supporting a few of our key projects with funding, identifying an SCRA entrepreneurial startup company with an appropriate technology solution, and bridging the industry entrepreneurial cultures. We learned we must have a common vision that was being driven toward pioneering solutions, becoming digital, and moving quicker. While getting started with proofs of concept and pilots right away was exciting, we also quickly started compiling a list of strategic lessons learned. Perhaps the most important is how challenging it was to navigate through the business with these new and different ways of thinking. We learned these transformative changes had less to do with technology and more to do with culture and people. We learned we must be organized and aligned locally and globally, and we need our leaders at all levels to listen, support, and remove obstacles. We began to understand the importance of addressing the real problems. Implementing new technology because it was new and cool didn't mean it would solve the problems faced by our workforce. And if we weren't solving their problems, they were not going to be on board. We had many cultural lessons learned that can fit into our guiding behaviors of seeking simplicity, pursuing collaboration, and being bold. Hopefully, these lessons learned will resonate with all of you in some way. Most importantly, we learned that without creating an environment in which employees can be at their best, strategic initiatives may not be as effective in driving a company toward its vision. Here are some of the key takeaways. Communication is key in building trust. Taking small steps and celebrating small wins will help keep the momentum going and keep people engaged. When we were having fun, we were more creative and collaborative. Listening to the problem rather than forcing solutions was essential to building trust. Everything we tried did not succeed, and rather than focus on the failure as being a setback, we looked at it as getting us that much closer to where we needed to be. There is great strength in working together. It saves time. We learned by soliciting perspectives and ideas from many different areas of the business around the globe, we gained proof of the valuable insight that diversity is essential to creativity and innovation. And finally, we learned it is very difficult to change others' thinking. We must start with challenging the status quo and changing our own thinking. We have to believe in ourselves and what we do. We must be brave and speak up and support and respectfully challenge others to do the same. The components of our digitalization strategy in Aitkin are smart connected equipment, manufacturing process data is brought together to enable analysis, digital information, providing our employees with the right information at the right time with the right tool to build our products right the first time and make better decisions quickly, and using data analytics for predictive quality and predictive maintenance. We are partnering with our Power Systems colleagues, PTC and SAP, globally to define a target picture and roadmaps for the IT systems that will be needed to support our factory of the future. This will ensure alignment to a global standard that helps us to be more agile and effective in scaling solutions across the company. We partnered with SCMEP and Gemba Systems to pilot a digital execution software called Proceedix to transform our quality gate inspections from paper-based or by memory to digital execution. To keep costs low during the pilot, we have taken advantage of standard company-issued hardware such as iPhones and Windows tablets. The next step in evaluation would be testing SAP and MES integration, which will be planned for early next year in alignment with our Power Systems colleagues in Germany. We are partnering with PTC and our Power Systems colleagues in Germany and India to develop and plan international pilots of augmented reality solutions, such as AR-enabled digital work instructions, technical documentation, and service manuals. We are also working to develop talent within the manufacturing engineering team in Aitkin to create 3D models that can be used for AR/VR experiences and 3D printing. In addition to the benefits listed on this slide, these AR experiences can also be integrated into our product lifecycle management software and be used by our employees around the globe. We are partnering with SCRA and Delta Bravo to predict engine failures on our test bench. The red box shows where we are currently, which is anomaly detection during engine testing. Utilizing the Delta Bravo software and the data we already collect, we currently have over 25 rules in place that can automatically trigger a shutdown of an engine to prevent catastrophic failure. The next step will be to move to the source upstream by forming cross-functional teams to analyze the data and determine the root cause of anomalies. We will include data from warranty issues to predict and correct in-house. We will also use data analytics to develop a predictive maintenance strategy starting with our highest valued assets to improve uptime and the efficiency of our maintenance technicians. This is what a factory of the future would look like at Rolls-Royce Power Systems. We will have digitalization across the order processing value stream, from logistics through manufacturing toward assembly, testing, and painting. Our support groups, such as quality and maintenance, will move from reactive to predictive. Our global vision and initiatives will guide our efforts from local proof of concept and pilot to global implementation. The digital thread connects the data that matters along the entire product lifecycle, from engineering design through service. This slide, with image courtesy of PTC, gives a comprehensive overview of how technologies in the physical and digital worlds converge along the digital thread. The red outline shows where Rolls-Royce Power Systems is on this journey. Everything I have shared with you today, our strategy, our culture, and our way forward, is in support of achieving the Rolls-Royce Power Systems vision of pioneering the power that matters. This concludes the virtual session. Please feel free to contact me directly with any general comments or questions about the material presented today. Thank you.
All right, welcome back everyone. I love that video. That's the second or third time I've watched it, and that of course is MTU Rolls-Royce Power Systems. And they are talking about their Industry 4.0 journey, where they're going and where they were. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. Catherine, I'm back with Catherine Hayes. She's the industry manager at SCRA. And now let's talk about Nephron Pharmaceuticals.
Sure. So I think Nephron is a great example in South Carolina of advanced manufacturing. They have very high-tech systems, importance for them for compliance to be in sterile environments, and they've adopted robotics for many different applications. One of the cool things I think you see repeated in the Industry 4.0 and digital transformation is development of using collaborative robots or cobots,
Right.
where they can actually work alongside humans and they no longer have to be fenced. And I know Nephron and other companies are working on that because there are a lot of jobs that dull, dirty, dumb, dangerous that you do want to replace with a robot.
Right.
It's not safe for a human or not interesting for a human.
Right.
But a lot of other positions really require the dexterity of a human and require the intelligence of a person working alongside the robot.
Right. This ain't your daddy's manufacturing anymore.
No,
correct?
absolutely not. And we're privileged in South Carolina to have very high-tech advanced manufacturers.
Let's talk about what those robots, or cobots as you call them, and that's a new word that I've just become familiar with over the last couple months, cobots. They are involved in automated syringe filling at Nephron. Is that one of the things that they do?
One of the projects that we did do with Nephron and the University of South Carolina at their digital transformation lab, I think it's called, is a syringe filling and working with a robot, with researchers on precise techniques to make that happen.
Right. I can't even imagine the process that you go through to get a robot to do something that is way above my pay grade, but I guess that's why they pay engineers as much as they do.
Well, again, this is an opportunity, I think, in the state for advanced research to be applied to an advanced manufacturer. And there's some really exciting developments that are occurring.
Nephron Pharmaceuticals, located over in Columbia, they sent us a video. It's about 5 minutes long. Take a look. We'll be right back.
pick-and-place robot that moves the product vials from the conveyor into the tray. Layers can be turned and oriented 180 degrees from the preceding layer to facilitate a more stable and level layer in each tray cavity. A camera captures the image of each tray entering the tray loading cell to ensure it is empty. Once the tray is filled, the barcode is scanned and is inducted into the inventory system. This system is capable of handling up to 100 cards of 5 vials per minute, completing one tray in 1.2 minutes. The palletizing robot will move the empty trays onto the tray conveyor. Once the trays are filled with product, the palletizing robot will pick up the full tray and move it to the output pallet conveyor. This system is capable of handling one complete pallet of 75 trays in 1.5 hours. At this station, the robot picks up the bottles from the in-feed screw and places them in the metal tray. 2 cameras will capture an image of the tray entering the tray loading cell to ensure it is empty. Once the tray is filled with the bottles, the second robot will move the tray onto the output pallet conveyor. The filled tray barcode will be scanned as each tray exits and is inducted into the inventory system. BART is short for Bausch Automated Rotary Tip Filler. This was the first automated syringe filler commissioned by the Nephron 503B outsourcing facility. This automated filling system is capable of filling and capping 5 and 10 ml polypropylene syringes at a rate of 30 syringes per minute. The only human interaction with the filling process is loading syringes via the in-feed rail and the introduction of syringe caps to the sorting bowl. Syringes are filled to a preset fill volume utilizing a peristaltic pump, which allows for precise fill accuracy. Syringes are capped utilizing a robotic arm, which is capable of picking, placing, and rotating a cap onto the syringe. A human-machine interface, also known as HMI, allows for control of all machine parameters. In order to ensure that hospitals have the safest and most affordable sterile products for their patients, Nephron has collaborated with the University of South Carolina School of Engineering and Pharmacy School to develop a robotic system for the production of injectable products in a sterile environment. All manufactured components are original designs by Nephron employees and University of South Carolina students. This robot improves the functional sterility of a currently manual process by reducing the need for human interaction with critical locations during filling operations in an ISO 5 classified work environment. This robotic system is a self-contained unit that sits within the filling hood. It is programmed to fill each syringe to a specific volume and cap each syringe after filling. The palletizing robot will stack the cases containing finished product and complete a stack based on a preset pattern. Once the pallet is completed, it will move to the automated stretch wrapper. This robot picks up the corner board and adds adhesive. It then places the boards on each corner of the pallet. A sheet of cardboard is laid on top, and the stretch wrapper will wrap the stack. The pallet then advances to the last step in the process, where a label is placed and scanned. A laser-guided vehicle will pick up the pallet and transport it to the warehouse, where it will be inducted into our finished goods inventory. This system is capable of handling up to 70 pallets in 24 hours.
All right, everyone, welcome back. That was a nice little video from Nephron Pharmaceuticals. I enjoyed that one as well. I'm back here with Catherine Hayes, who is the industry manager at SCRA, and we've been talking Industry 4.0 technology. Catherine, we've seen Nephron, we have seen MTU Rolls-Royce Power Systems. Tell me someone else who is cutting edge.
Well, you have to select Bausch. Bausch is really...
That's right. They're up next, as a matter of fact. Go ahead, Bausch.
They have taken the charge, taken the lead, I think, really globally in Industry 4.0. When I first presented it back in the Auto Council, they really were the leaders in the state. And they continue to leverage their background in lean technologies and continuous improvement to utilize as a platform to go further in digital transformation. They've had an interesting journey from top down to bottom up, and now they have a hybrid model where they use both.
Right.
And they have tried a variety of technologies, and really they're, I think, again, leaders in understanding that customer value should really drive the digital transformation journey. But they're using very cool technology in the plant.
Well, I look forward to hearing from those guys. And folks, that concludes this session. Up next is session 4, which is the dawn of a smart factory. And we will hear more from Bausch. Thank you. We'll be back here on SCBIZtv shortly.
At Choke Construction, our One Life identity inspires a culture of safety. Every day, we send thousands of employees and trade contractors to job sites across the nation. And every day, their loved ones depend on them to return home safe and sound. This humbling task is why we here at Choke have devoted ourselves to transforming the culture of safety from the ground up. We know that no matter the language, working safely begins and ends with people.